Hi guys, in this video I want to show you my AC idle up mod for the L-Jetronic. So the issue I had with this car for a long time is that it doesn't really have an idle control valve. It only has the bimetallic auxiliary air valve, so once the car gets warm the valve shuts off and that's it. So if you have any load like headlights or power steering, and the idle drops down a little bit, but it was especially bad when using the AC. What I did in the past was to just crank the idle up so that it would idle at around 1000 at 1100 RPM unloaded, so that it wouldn't bog down that much with the AC on. But yeah, eventually I replaced the original compressor, the wing cell bare unit, with a Sanden 508, and with this new compressor it really idled down. It had much more drag than the other one, so eventually I grew tired of it and found some sort of idle valve that could be adaptive to the intake to keep the idle steady. Now I searched around for quite a while to try and find a solenoid valve that would fit this intake. I wanted one that was adjustable as well, and so I found this unit. I'll link it in the description. It's some sort of Denso knockoff, but it has 8mm barbs and also an adjustment screw, and this one can be adjusted from pretty much closed off to really open. You could get this to idle at 1300 or more if you wanted to. The only mod I did to this valve is that I couldn't get the exact plug that matched the splines. It seemed to be hard to find or expensive, so I simply found a similar plug and I just cut off the splines on the valve so that this one would fit. Electrically it's very simple. There's a power wire which I connected to the low speed fan relay, which is pretty much the same as the compressor clutch signal, and the ground wire. So here are both power and ground, and the ground here on the intake. And for the airflow I cut the crank vent tube in half and added, this is a 19mm by 8T for the inlet to the valve, and the outlet goes down into the intake where the auxiliary air valve sends the air into the intake. So it tees in there. I think that's 16 by 8 maybe. So it's really very simple, but it makes the car much more drivable. Now I'm gonna start the car, let it warm up, and we're gonna play with the screw for demonstration. Okay, so there you have it. In the future, I may try to reroute these hoses so they are not so much in your face. I thought about maybe adding a 8mm elbow here in this flat spot, or maybe 3D print another connection here for the vacuum, for the idle air, or maybe drill tap in a valve. I don't know. This was supposed to be temporary, but it works so well that I've been driving like this for 2 years maybe. But you saw how fine it works now. It becomes a non-issue to drive the car with AC. And also sometimes I let people borrow this car, so it's nice to know that it won't stall out on them because of this issue.